Dr. Phil. Let's start with Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil has made the rounds. He's been on Fox News. He's been on The View. He's been on Joe Rogan. He's been on a lot of different shows promoting his new network. Dr. Phil walked away from the Oprah Winfrey Network, canceled his show, and he's coming back with his own network. It's going to have 24/7 content. They're going to be doing news. It's going to be great. I actually like that. That's actually my guilty pleasure. Dr. Phil. You ever watch Dr. Phil?
No.
When you're gone, I watch Dr. Phil.
Are you
when I'm on the road,
serious?
I watch Dr. Phil. I do. That's like road gig, get in my hotel room. First thing I'm doing is popping on Dr. Phil. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Hey, there's scumbag artists that go out and have affairs on the road. My affair is with Philip McGraw. Okay? I watch Dr. Phil. It's my thing. It's interesting to hear about this family that, like, the daughter has a love triangle with her step grandpa and all. It's a less trashy Maury. I don't feel guilty about. I tried to watch Maury once when I was sick, and I just felt like I'm puking my guts out. I'm 101 degree fever. I can't get out of bed, and I feel like complete shit. But I still feel like a scumbag for watching this right now. I feel like I could be doing more with my life right now at this moment than I am watching Maury. But I like Dr. Phil. I enjoy his show. I'm looking forward to it. If there's a pay option, I will subscribe to the premium. So Dr. Phil left Oprah's network, and he's gotten a little based. He used to try to kind of, toe the middle of the line on politics, straddle the fence, but he hasn't done that recently. Go ahead and check out this interview with him on The View, where they talked about the COVID lockdown policies in schools.
Like 08, 09, smartphones came on, and kids stopped living their lives and started watching people live their lives. And so we saw the biggest spike and the highest levels of depression, anxiety, loneliness, and suicidality since records have ever been kept. And it's just continued on and on and on. And then COVID hits 10 years later, and the same agencies that knew that are the agencies that shut down the schools for 2 years. Who does that? Who takes away the support system for these children? Who takes them away and shuts it down? And by the way, when they shut it down, they stopped the mandated reporters from being able to see children that were being abused and sexually molested, and in fact sent them home and abandoned them to their abusers with no way to watch, and referrals dropped 50 to 60%. So
there was also a pandemic going on, and they were trying to save kids' lives.
Remember, we know a lot of folks who died during this. So it wasn't, people weren't laying around eating bond, but, well, you know what? We're lucky. Maybe we're lucky they didn't, because we kept them out of the places that they could be sick, because no one wanted to believe we had an issue.
Are you saying no school children died of COVID?
I'm saying it was the safest group. They were the less vulnerable group, and they suffered and will suffer more from the mismanagement of COVID than they will from the exposure to COVID. And that's not an opinion, that's a fact.
Well, Phil?
Whoopi don't know what to say. Well, Phil, I think you're racist. That's her go-to. That sounds racist to me, Phil. I'm tired, Phil. Was that a good Whoopi impression?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't really.
The way he tore them down with pinpoint logic, stayed calm, and got their own audience to clap at his tomahawk slam dunk at the end there was a masterclass in how to deal with the left. You guys don't understand The View, the dynamic. The View is it 4 or 5 hosts?
4.
So they got 4 hosts. 3 of them are liberal as all hell. One of them is their token conservative that comes on to either be the punching bag or play devil's advocate to people on the right. She's not a real conservative. You've basically got 3.5 liberal hens clucking at you and screaming over you the entire time, and you've got to maintain your composure. Anytime you say something that doesn't toe their line or goes against the grain or what the establishment wants, because that's all they are, is establishment talking heads that scare the hell out of suburban women and try to win elections for the establishment. You go on there and you turn their audience against them, don't underestimate what he just did. Based Dr. Phil is not what the establishment, they are not ready for that, because that's a guy that a lot of people, one of the most important voter demographics out there, suburban women, even though we agree on this show that they shouldn't have a right to vote, they're the most important voter demographic out there because they do influence elections. Dr. Phil is somebody they trust. Now that he's gone full-blown based and he's going on their shows like The View and humiliating people and red-pilling people on issues like COVID and turning audiences against these people, this is a very, very underrated weapon in this spiritual war we're up in right now. Here's another video of him. He red-pilled them on the border. And again, they were speechless.
I talked to the head of all the border guards down there, the head of the union. I asked him straight up, kids are coming over the border with numbers written on them, phone numbers and addresses. Mm-hmm. Do we check those out? He said, well, we call them. Is it possible that we're sending them into known prostitution rings or sweatshops? He said, it's not possible. It is absolute. We are using American tax dollars to ship children into known prostitution and sweatshops.
Some children.
Well, who knows?
Okay.
Does
we
it
don't
matter?
know. I said, are you...
So what kind of checking do they do? So
Hold on, pause that. Click the video and
I
pause
say,
it.
do you know about this child? They say yes. Will you receive them when they come?
Pause that. She said all children or just some? Does it matter? If we're using U.S. taxpayer money to ship children who we don't know where they came from and we don't know who their parents are from the southern border to pimps and traffickers, does it matter if it's 1 or 1 million? I feel like 1 is a bad use of our money. Anyway, keep playing it. God, they have to argue everything. Oh, he's talking about the border and human trafficking. Beep, boop, bop. The programming has told me I have to disagree with this. Go ahead.
Yes. I said, is it possible that's a prostitution ring? He said, we know enough to know that in a number of cases, it has turned out to be absolute sex ring. It has turned out to be an absolute sweatshop. I said, how is this possible?
Well, what do they do?
And he said, it is happening.
What do they do then if they know that that's happening? Where is the U.S. Attorney's Office? Where is the...
Here's the
good question,
you have to re-ask that question when we come back. Because we're coming back with more.
Crazy how they cut to the commercials right before, right after that. They don't want to actually be called out on it. So he also had this to say on the trans issue. He said, there's no video. He said, fringe factions are trying to rewrite history, rewrite science, rewrite biology, just pretend that facts aren't facts. We got facts that have been there for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, and you can't just change them. Dr. Phil is back, and he's going to war. This is the war machine ready to roll, Dr. Phil, that they're not even ready for. Dr. Phil's like 6'5". Could you imagine Dr. Phil running at you full speed? How intimidating that would be. They just pissed off one of the most dangerous men on planet Earth, Dr. Phil. So, you know what's happened to him since he started doing this? Since he started breaking free of the conditioning. You know what's happened to him, Mia? To him and his wife? They can't hear you.
No.
They have had their house swatted multiple times. So swatting, you all know what that is. They'll call the police, say there's a hostage situation. SWAT team kicks the door in. Hopefully nobody gets shot. Who swats Dr. Phil? But that's what the left does. When you don't toe the line, it's not enough that they know they can't beat you in the arena of ideas. They know that's not possible. They can't. They can't because they know they're wrong. They know that their ideas are a house of cards, and if they don't have people just parroting everything they're saying, it falls apart immediately. So anyone, especially someone that's that influential, and I'm not joking. Suburban women trust this guy. So he is influential. He's been on TV for a long time. Stay-at-home moms, older grandmas, they've been watching this guy and trusting his advice for a long time. Whether they should or shouldn't doesn't matter. So when they have someone out there that doesn't toe the line, the left knows about 3 things. And Andrew Tate said it. They try to cancel you. When they can't cancel you, they try to put you in jail. When they can't put you in jail, they try to kill you. That's what they do. They get violent. They cheat because they can't just sit there and debate you, and they'll mask it and say, well, I don't debate fascists because I don't want to platform them. Well, you might want to start talking because the fascists, the quote-unquote fascists, we're kind of gaining ground right now. So maybe you should debate us and just make our bad ideas look bad in the public forum, but you can't do that. And you get your asses handed to you every time, so you resort to dirty bullshit and intimidation and coercion and threats. Well, you're messing with the most dangerous man in the world, Dr. Phil. Here's what I've noticed. So, since he left Oprah's network, that's when all of this started, this rhetoric. Isn't it weird how, like, what do you think's more likely? That he left Oprah's network, and in the year since he left Oprah's network, he had this just change of heart on everything and decided to get real vocal about about all of it. Or that he felt this way the whole time. This is a smart guy. He's established in his career. He's successful. That he's felt this way the whole time, and he's finally had the muzzle come off. What do you think's more likely there? How many celebrities out there agree with him and would parrot similar talking points? Not parrot, that's a bad word, but would espouse similar talking points if given the opportunity, if they weren't slaves to some corporate overlords in the entertainment industry? How many more people do you think? I would be willing to bet that the majority of Hollywood agrees with him. In private, not out in public. I would be willing to bet that the majority of the entertainment industry does. And I know that because even in local scenes, it's the same way. You have people that'll quietly support the woke causes and all that, but I've had so many people in local entertainment scenes message me and say, thank you for being the way you are. Thank you. I can't say this out loud because I'll get blackballed and I won't be able to get booked. And I'm like, I get it, bro. But thank you for taking a stand on this bullshit and not being a retard. And that's all it takes. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, be sure to click the link in the description to get the full episode on Rumble. If you prefer to listen along, you could actually get us on Spotify, Spreaker, and iHeartRadio. You can also go to www.outlawstreamers.com to learn more about not just my show, but tons of other great shows and all the exciting projects they have coming up. Follow my socials at Caleb Isn't Funny on Twitter and Instagram, at Caleb Salvatore Comedy on the Chinese Spy app that is TikTok, and be sure to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thanks, and we'll see you every Saturday for brand new episodes of That's Based. Peace.